We have returned. What is the shush for? Why are
No,
you shushing me?
should we jump into it? I think
um,
we know what's going on.
it's kind of crazy that we're getting so close to the end as well. Or maybe it's just me.
Close to the end, she says. So
We're closer than when we started. Let's just go with that.
yeah, episode 8 will take like 3 years though.
Really?
Something's gonna happen.
Mm. Oh dear.
Who's narrating? Are we still doing the
Uh,
author's narration? Diary author?
I don't know what's happening at the moment. So, in terms of who's speaking.
Something. It is a narrator.
Yes. I understand that part.
Something that was missing
But
this
who?
whole time is happening now.
Oh, okay.
Which is. That wall looks pretty blank.
It's blank like my brain.
It's something we. Oh, I was trying to figure out a few times. I was like, was the portrait hung yet?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. And the epitaph. Wait, did the epitaph exist before the portrait or after?
Same time.
Same time as the portrait. Okay. Okay.
I will just narrate now.
Alright. And then it's going to be like, I did. Blah, 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 blah. I, Piotto.
We accept it.
Summoned battler.
It's just how it is. This is Umineko.
Yeah.
Men in work clothes were spreading a tarp over a section of the hall. From the way they measured the wall and set out tools, it could be seen that they were planning some sort of construction project. And this is of the utmost importance to the master. Be sure that you do not damage it.
You got to do his voice deeper.
I know. I'm trying to make him sound like a robot, though. Monotonous. The president of the construction company nodded his head several times to show that he understood. Then 6 young workers carried in a large rectangular object wrapped in a white sheet.
Why did my brain automatically think it was a coffin?
Maybe it is.
Is
Okay, careful there. Set it down gently. I said gently.
this the spot?
Great, let's get started. Apparently, they were putting something large onto the wall of the hall.
He plans to hang that thing there?
That's what he wants. After all, this mansion is little more than one of Father's toys. Natsuhi took a deep breath. Though this was a whim of Kinzo's, a man she greatly respected, she seemed to resist the idea of hanging it right here in the entrance of the hall, the face of the mansion. When the white sheet was pulled off, a Western woman wearing a beautiful dress came into view. It was a massive portrait of a woman. Is it proceeding well? I can't remember his voice. Yes, they will be finished by this evening. I would like to see it hanging there for all to see as soon as possible. I want you overseeing this, my friend. Leave it to me. Father, it seems a splendid portrait. Indeed. Quite exceptional quality. I am satisfied.
This is your benefactor, the woman who gave you the gold, right?
Indeed. If I had not met Beatrice, I would not be here, nor would the Ushiramiya family, nor would, of course, this mansion. It's only natural that her portrait be displayed in the best possible location. Now that he had said it this bluntly, there would be no contradicting him. Krasanatsuhi could only shrug. Master, the epitaph plate is here. Would you please check to see that all is in order? Indeed. Each and every word must be correct. Epitaph. Kraus and Nati crooked their heads and followed Kinzo. The leader of the workers set down a plate wrapped in a sheet. The others thought that the picture's name and description might be on it, but it seemed to have quite a lot of words for that.
Father, what is this?
Behold, the Sweetfish River running through my hometown. Read and interpret it as you like. So, we finally reached the appearance of the epitaph in the portrait.
I don't know much about this epitaph. It doesn't exist in my world.
Probably not. In your world, there's already a clear successor, you. But not in this world.
In other words, this epitaph was set up to choose grandfather's successor after all?
Most likely. Or he might have wanted to believe in a chance of a miracle. A difficult riddle made so that no one would be able to solve it. If someone actually could solve it, they themselves would be a miracle. Perhaps that miracle would guide the person Kinzo most wanted to solve it.
In short, this epitaph really does depict a ceremony to revive the witch Beatrice, just as everyone thought. That does seem to be the obvious interpretation. A mysterious ceremony sacrificing 13 people to revive the witch. However, the true ceremony wasn't that. It lies in wait for someone to miraculously solve it. That is the true ceremony. However, fate does have its irony.
Genji already knew. Maybe Kinzo set this up in the first place because he guessed that Genji knew everything.
Was that a fate of coincidence or something planned? I do not know. However, with this epitaph, the witch Beatrice will revive in the truest sense.
Journey to the Golden Land.
Was that like a
Pre-chapter.
chapter? Yeah.
What do you call it? There isn't.
It's not an epilogue. Epilogue's at the end. I know what you're saying, but I can't remember.
So what have you done? My brain. Prologue.
I just need to... Yes! Prologue. That's the one. This is... Beatrice. My soul was captured by the woman shown in that massive portrait. That might have been literally true. Oh my goodness, I just realized.
What?
It's the mum. The person, the narrator, is been captured by the mum / grandma.
What do you mean?
Like, so we know that Beatrice had a daughter, and the daughter looked like really close to Beatrice, right?
Yeah.
So this could be either of them.
I would imagine it's the initial
one. But even so, it's still like their direct relative. But they don't realize that.
Remember they, when it was still Yasu and Shannon? Was it? It was either Yasu and Shannon were talking about it, or Beatrice and Shannon were talking about it to each other. They were like, "Oh, you never know. You could be the secret, like, offspring of the head of the family. How exciting would that be?"
Yeah, but they didn't believe that.
It was kind of like a wishful thinking, though.
Yeah. But even still, that's like the mother or grandmother that they never knew.
Yeah.
And they're looking at that and not even realizing. Oops, I've just destroyed my phone. Okay. My soul was captured by the woman shown in that massive portrait. That might have been literally true. Or, rather than captured, perhaps it would be better to say that my soul had returned to a more fitting place. The place it belonged. The beautiful blonde hair was the same as mine, but tied up. The dress she wore was a deep black, making that golden hair stand out all the more. This is the witch, Beatrice. My true form. What is this? There was a plate with too many words for it to be the title of the picture. Behold the Switfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. The Golden Land. I see. So my world is the Golden Land. I have always called my own personal world a paradise, but tonight I shall change that. From now on my world shall be the Golden Land. I am the master of the Golden Land, Beatrice. And then there is the brutal ceremony of sacrifices, starting on the first twilight. On the 9th twilight the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. If I carry out this ceremony, will I revive in the truest sense? Then on the 10th twilight at journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the Golden Land. Kinzo received a massive amount of gold from Beatrice, and rumor has it that it still lies hidden somewhere. Is this, as the family members and servants are all whispering, a code showing the location of Kinzo's hidden gold? If a human solves it, they will obtain a great quantity of gold. However, if I do, it will mean my own resurrection. Kinzo, you aging magician! Just when I was mocking the shortness of the time left to you, you start a game like this. How interesting. I'll definitely solve it. Then I will revive as the real Beatrice. When that happens, I will use my great magical power to rule over object and man, day and night, and all of Rikenjima.
Everyone says that epitaph is a guide to finding hidden treasure.
The rumors tell that the master has 10 tons of gold hidden away.
Yes, and Beatrice supposedly gave it to him. I've heard that one too.
10 tons of gold? That would be incredible. I can hardly even imagine it.
If you had all that, what would you use it for? I'd like to touch it just once.
Forget touching it. I'd like to spend it all. But why would he go out of his way to display this epitaph? The code showing the hidden path to his gold.
That's obvious. He's laughing at everyone since he thinks no one can solve it.
It's a challenge to the rest of us, isn't it? He wants to know if there's anyone here who's wise enough to solve it.
It seems that the master doesn't intend to let Crowsummer take the headship easily. Perhaps the one who solves this will become his successor?
Genji-san, what is this? Could this be a portrait of Beatrice? The Beatrice?
Correct. This is Beatrice-sama.
What on earth? There's a strange, little poem thing here.
What's this all about? It's almost like a pirate code that shows the way to a hidden treasure. Genji-san, what does this mean?
The master said to read and interpret it as you wish, and that the riddle applies equally to all who can see the epitaph.
You said riddle just now, didn't you? That means this can be solved. Yes, that's it. Father doesn't want Nissan to succeed him.
I should not have said that. I should not have said that.
I know, right?
So, whoever solves this will become the successor.
Finally. The tables have finally turned. And I now have a real chance to become the head.
What do you think, Kiryu?
I think it's extremely likely that this epitaph points to the location of the hidden gold.
It looks like Aniki thinks the one who solves it will be chosen as the successor.
That's another theory that might fit. Father certainly doesn't view Kraus-Nissan as an ideal successor. This might be a huge trick he's set up now that he's reaching the end of his years.
So, if you really solve the riddle, you stand to gain 10 tons of gold and the position of successor.
On the surface, perhaps. However, I'm sensing some malice, as though he doesn't think anyone capable of solving it. I doubt he made it to be solved easily.
True. Guess we won't have trouble looking for something to do over a drink for a while now.
Ridiculous. How could anyone solve this? Rosa tossed aside a notepad with the epitaph written on it and flopped over onto the sofa. Solving this means 10 tons of gold. With that much, I'd never need to worry about schemes for cash again. If I had money, I could pay off my debts, and that man might come back to me. I know where Father's beloved hometown is. And the Sweet Fish River. There are many rivers there. What's the village supposed to be? I don't have a clue.
Ooh, oh, she's so cute in this outfit. What's wrong, Mama?
Maria looked concerned. Kids are really good at riddles, so maybe. Hey, Maria. Do you think you know the answer to this riddle? Maria gazed at the paper with the epitaph on it as though she was trying to bore through it with her eyes. Her eyes opened wider and wider. What do you think, Maria? I guess it might be a bit too hard for you.
This is a witches ceremony. A resurrection ceremony for Beato. Where'd you get this? Hey, Mama, where'd you get this? I'm gonna ask Beato. I'm sure this ceremony will let Beato regain her full power. She'll be able to appear in front of everyone and do miracles of magic without having to worry about the anti-magic toxin anymore.
Just like Rudolph as Kiryu, and then Ava and Hideyoshi are also solving it, and meanwhile Rose is like, I've got this brat. She's no help to me.
When I ask her for help, she spouts this nonsense.
And the epitaph.
It seems the family members are all competing to solve the riddle.
Good. Let everyone try. And none will solve it. Except for the one blessed by a miracle. If I let my guard down, even I might forget the process. That is how difficult it is.
The process?
Because it is difficult, solving it will bring about a miracle.
Precisely. This miracle shall be the last one I desire in my life. My final bit of magic. When a miracle comes and allows one to solve that complicated epitaph, it will surely mean Beatrice's resurrection. Oh, Beatrice, I just want to see your face one more time.
Let me see your face.
I don't need wealth or honor anymore. If only I could meet you one more time.
Which Beatrice is he talking about, though? So many.
Well, they're all the same, Tim. In a way, I guess.
Oh. Someone had to say it, I guess.
This would be the last bit of magic that Kinzo, who realized he was facing his last years, would ever use. He was betting everything that Beatrice had given him, hoping to meet her just one more time, after being separated by death through 2 generations. His meeting with Beatrice that day had been the true beginning of his life, and even with them gone, Kinzo had remained there alone on the stage that had gone dark. The aged monarch had obtained everything, accomplished everything, but this was the one element that had always slipped through his fingers, no matter how much he struggled. If he could just have that element, he would need nothing else in life. In the end, perhaps his whole life was just a journey to learn that one single element makes up all that it means to be human.
My friend, will my life's final bit of magic show me a miracle?
For a while, Genji was silent. He wasn't at a loss for words or struggling to find an answer. During that silence, something had passed between the 2 men, who had known each other for so long that their friendship surpassed that of master and servant.
No, that will do. No one will solve it. That's why a miracle will occur.
Master, please tell me one thing.
What is it?
If, I ask you, if a miracle does occur. It may have been different during his youth, but in his old age, Genji rarely spoke of dreams and what-ifs. When Genji said if, Kinzo quietly waited for the words of the man he called a friend. If a miracle does occur, if your magic comes true, and Beatrice Summer does revive, what will you do? As the one closest to Kinzo, Genji obviously knew of the crazed feelings with which Kinzo had searched for Beatrice in the past. And yet, Genji was asking what Kinzo would do if Beatrice did revive. Master, at one time in the past, you experienced the miracle of Beatrice Summer being reborn. If that miracle happened again, what would you do?
My friend. So, after all, you do blame me.
I have no way of knowing everything in your heart and Beatrice Summers. However, I believe I do understand at least part of the way in which Beatrice Summer adored you.
I lament the fact. You may not believe it, but as I have aged, I have come to regret all of it. If a miracle does occur and Beatrice revives, then of course I do not care if she knows nothing of the time she spent with me in the past. No, as long as she is Beatrice, I don't care who it is. I just want to apologize.
Oh.
Is that truly how you feel?
Yes, my friend. I regret it. How deeply I regret those mistakes I made in youth. You have aged as well, so you must know. One cannot feel guilt for the sins of their youth when one is still young. However, like deep thorns, they begin to fester, torturing me.
Oh, he's crying.
Yeah, he's been crying for the past few lines.
I, Yushiremiya Kinzo, no longer care how I die. However, this thorn, this regret, is the one account I must settle. I will return everything to Beatrice, and I will ask her to forgive me for my sins. For that That is my only and final wish.
Kinzo covered his eyes and sobbed. The aged monarch who had built up great wealth in a single generation was reaching the end of his life, and he could do nothing but sob because he wanted someone to apologize to.
Okay. Wasn't the epitaph the child grandfather made to choose the successor?
I thought that too at first, but it looks like the situation's a bit different.
At this point, I also thought it was a trial. That it was a game for selecting the successor, which Ushiramiya Kinzo decided upon a whim. And it wasn't. This epitaph meant something for the Ushiramiya Kinzo and runaway Genji, that only the two of them could understand. So this was not the workings of fate. It was inevitable. I was no more than a Cinderella with the pumpkin carriage and glass slippers all prepared beforehand.
You get it? I get it.
I think I've got an idea where it's going, yeah.
Where's that? To the ball.
Oh my goodness.
So, this was a farce that Kinzo and Genji set up.
Kinzo did understand, and Genji realized that this was a message. I don't have a clue what you mean. What did grandfather understand? And what does Genji's son have to do with this epitaph?
The epitaph wasn't solved. Someone was made to solve it.
And then Beatrice truly revived. If that revival had never happened.
Then 1986 would still have come, but the incident might have been completely different.
And so, since the time of my birth, I have been trapped by the crossroads of fate. Never given the right to make any decisions of my own will.
Willard.
Oh, I am one yet many, and yet we have never been able to resist fate. We are little more than leaves caught in a whirlpool. No matter how we dance, we must eventually be sucked in and disappear.
Imagine if leaves were sentient.
Oh my goodness.
Like each
That'd be like
individual
Pikmin.
one. No, I'm getting blown away.
Perhaps the one who specializes in instant movement. She's the 33rd way in rank of the great demons. You must really be incredible to have a friend like that, Beato. Ooh.
I see. The great demon Garb. Very well, my friend. You will now be Garb. You may call yourself by that name.
Oh, wonderful. So you've finally given me a name. It's a relief after being nameless for so long.
In that case, I would be honored to receive a name as well. Being nothing more than the head furniture lacks flavor, does it not?
Maria, I need a name for this guy too. He is also a great demon and serves as my butler. He is a subordinate whom I can trust.
Ooh. One of it, I guess. The 27th ranked of the great demons. It said he'll give you reliable underlings.
My, what a coincidence. The family name of my double Genji is Runaway.
Oh, that truly is a coincidence. I see. It seems this is the best possible name for you. Very well, you shall be now known as Ronave.
Oh, how pleasant it is to be called by one's name. I thank you for this wonderful name, Lady Maria.
Just as a form can be a vessel, a name can be a powerful vessel too. For unknown creatures of the other world, simply gaining a name can greatly increase their magical power. That's why names are important. Ooh! True, names are important and wonderful. Right, Leah? You can call me Garp now, okay?
Garp, a splendid name. I will remember it. And I'll ask you to stop shortening my precious name.
So you're Virgilia, the one who guides travellers to Beatrice. That is also a splendid name. Perfect for Milady's teacher.
Yes, I do like it a lot. A name is a life. Maria, thanks to you, my friends have found names. I am deeply grateful.
Ooh, ooh! Now it's your turn, Beato. Draw pictures of my bunny friends, like you did for Sakutaro.
Very well. Lend me that grimoire.
Uryu! Beato's drawings are really great. I can't wait to see.
What'll it be like? What'll it be like? I can't wait to see the bunnies. Ooh, ooh, ooh!
So that's how they came about. They were in a forest band, were they not? A band. Yes, something like.
That's
I know. I'm trying to. All of a sudden, Maria was no longer a little girl who did nothing but follow her mother around, laughing or crying. Okay. Though she is still young, she already has a powerful self-image and possesses enough knowledge of the magical world to surprise even me. Together we called ourselves Mariage Sorcière, and made each other's magical worlds deeper and richer.
I don't know where I got the idea that it was based on Maria and Anji's name.
So a name can become a powerful vessel. How profound.
It's very important to have a form for a vessel, but a name is just as important.
Indeed, those with names leave a greater impression than those without.
It's not just about forms and names. By knowing more and more about them, you can make them exist much more strongly. So I'll think up lots of stuff for you.
Did you do this for Sakutaro as well?
Yep, Sakutaro isn't just a name. There's a lot more to him than that.
He is a lion cub, correct?
Sakutaro's a vegetal lion. He doesn't eat meat.
I'm sorry, that's so cute. Vegetal lion.
It's Vegeta.
I was gonna do that.
But everyone else thinks he's other. They're scared of him. But Sakutaro's also a scaredy cat, so he's just as scared as the others. Sakutaro's such a coward.
Uryu, I don't eat
Cowardly sow.
I am not a sow. Not a scary lion either.
Oh, look, a flesh-eating sparrow!
Uryu, sparrows are scary. Whoosh.
Oh, he died.
Sparrows don't eat meat.
Sakutawa is a coward, so he thinks they do.
Did the sparrow go away? Who do you...
Oh, that's cute.
You're such a scaredy cat, Sakutaro. If you keep this up, Sakusuke and Sakukichi will start making fun of you again, right?
Who do you... I'm not a scaredy cat.
Ah, the sparrow's back.
No, I'll be eaten.
Oh wait, Sakutaro was quite entertaining. Then, as Sakusuke and Sakukichi have siblings.
Yeah,
His siblings, I think.
they're his little brothers, waiting for him at home. Sakusuke is a lot more reliable than Sakutaro, and Sakukichi is so skillful he can do anything. But they're all really good friends. They all play together on my bed.
I wonder if one of those is like, if they're both like the same toy, but like...
Yeah, it's interesting.
Cause...
Your bed must be covered with lions.
Yep, so I call my bed Lionland. But there's lots of other animals too.
Well, I guess that answers the question.
Ooh, ooh.
Cause like, then Anji could have just picked up
Any lion.
any line and been like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
Sakutaro.
Yeah, that's true.
Lionland, is it? It sounds like fun.
By interacting together, all of Maria's friends can reinforce their own existence. It's a magnificent little world. I guess that means we should work on deepening our relationships as well. By strengthening our bonds, our existence and magical power will grow stronger and stronger. Let's expand our world more and more. From what I've heard, Maria's world has far more than just Sakutaro and the bunnies. We can't let her beat us.
My. In that case, shall we find more minions for ourselves?
It's no fun with just the gold butterflies. After all, they cannot speak. I'd like some chatty minions who can talk, jump around, and fight with each other. True. Of course, it will be better to spice things up around here. Here in Mariage Sociere, we have learned how to expand our worlds and create new minions. By now, you may create new minions as often as your imagination allows.
Milady, what about those? Could you make vessels of those dark tools you found when cleaning out Goldsmith's storage room?
Oh, perfect. Minions created from dark-looking vessels like that will surely be fitting for me. Is this how the goats are born?
No, it's not the goats.
Well, the goats come into existence somewhere, right?
What is a dark-looking tool? It's...
Oh, yeah, steak. It's the steaks. I know it's the steaks, but I'm anticipating the goats as well.
No, they just had a farm at the back of Kuwadori and had a bunch of goats in it.
Oh my goodness. There will be more and more of us. And I didn't get to read yet. And it would get very lively here. Yeah, true, the steaks.
Ooh, but get more and more new friends. That's my magic. And Beata can take my friends and give them a farm. You can make them grow.
So that means the, I forget what they're called. The Chiesta sisters
Yeah.
were originally a Maria creation then.
I think it was kind of both. I think Beatrice drew them, but Maria had like they were part of the toy marching band set or whatever she had.
Yeah. Okay. You create them, and I grow them, indeed.
Yeah, so it's like she provides the blueprint, I guess, and then Beatrice will like draw them out and give them like more
detail.
Maria the vivid imagination to see. Detail, yes.
You create them and I grow them, indeed. That's mariage sorciere for you. Still, bunny ears are pretty hard. It might take some time before the bunnies manifest themselves. Be sure you make them cute. But of course, this is where I got my show. This is where I get to show. Oh my goodness! Ah! But of course, this is where I get to show my skill. Create a creature, give it a name, give it a form. Doing that is no different from giving birth to new life. When a human gives birth to a child, they give it a form, give it a name to identify it by, and deepen its character by raising it in the world. Mariage Sorcière is doing exactly the same thing. In our world, we can create whatever creatures we think of, give them forms, give them names, and make them friends we can interact with. We were engrossed with our game in this world called Mariage Sorcière. At least, Maria was engrossed. She would badger me to play this game every single time she came. And, of course, I was too. However, when Maria started happily writing something, and I just sat there for a while, I must admit that I sighed and looked up at the sky, making sure she didn't notice. It's fun to increase the numbers of our minions. They make things lively, so I do not tire of it. I may have tired of my minions alone, but even that problem goes away when I can interact with Maria as well. It takes two people to create a universe. I now have that second person, so I am satisfied. I think I am satisfied. And yet one little part of me is not. It truly is a tiny part. After all, it's so much fun playing with Maria that time seems to fly on by. But even so, when I look up at the sky, during those short moments, I feel an empty feeling I can't describe. I know my universe is not complete. My apologies to Maria, but she is not the second person I want to create a universe with. No matter how much I nurture my world with her, the roots of love in my heart leaves gaps. "4 years have already passed since that day. He left saying he'd come for me riding a white horse, and I was the only one without a letter. And he even said that he probably wouldn't be returning to Rikenjima. Is this love? I always believed that love was so much sweeter, so much more intoxicating. But now, I don't know anymore. Though I long for him so much it's maddening, I can sometimes feel hatred underneath. However, even that hatred is wrapped in adoration. The roots of love have remained in the corners of my heart all this time, At some point, I gave up hoping that Battler would return. However, the roots of love stayed right where they were. In other words, even 4 years later, I still believe. He will come back someday. The flower of my love has curled up and withered as though against the winter cold. However, the root is still alive, and it is always, always waiting for him to return, waiting for a chance to bloom beautifully again. I am grateful to Maria. Mariage sorcière has eased has eased the burden on my heart so much. If we hadn't met like this, I may have withered away along with that root. Even this incomplete universe is necessary for me to remain alive now. I must live on until I can create my complete universe. Until that day, I will not be complete. Though I have a form and a name, no matter how deep my world grows, I will not be complete. I am not complete.
Beato?
I accidentally muttered what I had been thinking. Maria stopped talking to Sakutaro. I regretted that my slip of the tongue had ruined this fun time. But there was a long silence before I could smooth it over. I laughed, but it probably sounded hollow. Maria, not knowing why my face had suddenly changed like this, looked taken aback. Though my minions will each deepen this world in their own existences, becoming full, I alone will never be complete. I know why I will not be complete.
It's because you don't have enough magical power.
Maria answered instantly. Beatrice has lost her magical power and is unable to regain the strength she once had. That's how the story goes. So Maria's answer was correct. That's right. I may be incomplete because I have lost my magical power. In that case, if my power becomes complete and I revive in the truest sense, will my world become complete as well? Does that mean that the person I want to nourish a universe with will come back? If, as I claim, I really was able to control miracles at will in the past with my magic, then if I succeed in reviving, would that miracle definitely occur? If such a thing were possible, I'd want true magical power to use for my resurrection. That's right. It's because I do not possess enough magical power.
But, Beato, it must be pretty inconvenient with your magical power still weak.
I want to get it back quickly. My old power.
I guess you'll have to do that then.
What do you mean by that?
The ceremony of resurrection. The ceremony of the portrait's epitaph.
If you read the epitaph literally, it does sound like a witch's resurrection ceremony. To Maria, who believes in witches, the epitaph must be a ceremony in itself. Unlike the other family members, It seems that she's not very interested in the location of the hidden gold. If that epitaph's riddle is solved, one might learn the location where Kinzo hid all the gold I once gave him.
That's the gold you created with magic, right?
Indeed. A crystallization of the great magic I possessed in those days.
In that case, if you get that gold back, your magical power will go back to normal.
Perhaps.
It will! Ooh! It's got to be your resurrection ceremony. I'll help, so let's solve it together. Then you'll revive, and when you do, you'll take me to your golden land.
That's right. I did promise that I would take you to the Golden Land.
You said that all wishes are granted there. There's no black witch there, just a nice mama. And I even might meet Papa I've never seen before. Of course, there won't be any school or homework or bullying friends, and we can live happily ever after. Sakutaro, doesn't that sound fun?
Did she just say Uryu?
Yeah.
Uryu! Is that okay?
Yeah, because Sakutaro's not real.
True. The epitaph of the portrait. Don't say that, Decky. Don't say it.
His
Maria,
existence
don't
has
listen.
been erased
Oh
by
my
my
goodness.
anti-magic toxin.
So, must I face the epitaph's riddle after all? If Kinzo's children struggled uselessly over it, how could a complete stranger like me solve it? If I did happen to solve it, that would surely be a miracle. Will doing that bring about another miracle and return my miraculous power to me? Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. So, am I to travel down a river in Kinzo's homeland in search of a key? As you travel down the river, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. There may be villages if you go down a river. But what is this shore the two you will tell you of? The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules, so those who do not have the key need not read the rest. I do not understand it, but that's how the riddle is. It's practically unsolvable, so solving it would be a miracle. That much makes sense. I felt a stabbing pain in my body. The anti-magic toxin had burned my skin. Some human is probably approaching. I erased my form. Multiple sets of footsteps approached. It was Genji, Shannon, and Cannon too.
It seems everyone is engrossed with solving the epitaph's riddle. Yes, I heard that even some of the servants have copied it down and taken it home with them.
If you solve this riddle, will you really find 10 tons of gold?
Indeed. There can be no doubt of that. I don't understand. The puzzle may be a tough one, but why is the master showing the location of his precious gold in a place where everyone can see? That is the master's magic, and also a bet. The master believes the one who solves this difficult riddle will contain Beatrice Summer's soul within them.
That's a strange, but, magic.
Looks like he's taken his occult fanaticism as far as it could possibly go.
Shh! You shouldn't say that!
All are allowed to try and solve the epitaph's riddle. Of course, the servants are no exceptions. Will you try to solve it?
So this is Genji sowing the seeds.
It's kind of prodding.
Yeah.
No. I could never solve such a hard riddle. And anyway,
And?
even if I had 10 tons of gold, I can't think of anything in particular I'd want to use it for. I'd be more than happy if these peaceful days continued forever.
Looks like you and George Summer have been pretty close these days. I just hope being distracted doesn't make you even more of a klutz.
That might happen.
With a backward glance at this conversation, Genji walked up to the portrait and looked up at the witch. When they saw what Genji was doing, Shannon and Cannon immediately went silent. Genji, who was the head of the servants, the closest in age to Kinzo, and the one whom Kinzo called a friend, probably understood Kinzo's heart better than anyone else. What did he think when he looked at this portrait? Neither Shannon nor Cannon could tell. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. Suddenly, Genji started reciting the epitaph. Shannon quickly nodded to show that she was listening, but it wasn't clear whether he was talking to her at all. Genji, his back still to them, continued. The master would not describe Odawara as his beloved hometown.
I've heard that he lived far away.
Though we don't know where it was.
Taiwan. Genji turned around and spoke that single word.
Oh. Is that so?
I see. So that explains what Krasama always used to say. Remember him talking about how the master liked areca nuts.
Come to think of it, Krasama said that those were a luxury item, like tobacco that was popular in Taiwan. So that's why the master...
In the half-century before the war, Taiwan was under the rule of Japan. Many Japanese had moved there, seeking a new frontier. Kinzo's family was a branch family of the Ushiromiyas. Apparently, they were only distantly related to the head family, so they were able to form a new life and a new future, without being constrained by the head family in Odawara. Shannon and Cannon nodded their understanding, but they didn't know why Genji had suddenly broached this topic, or subject.
So, there was a river with sweet fish in it in the master's hometown in Taiwan? And the key is there?
Don't be so stupid. There has to be several rivers with sweet fish in the area.
We don't know that for sure, right? I don't know where the master lived in Taiwan, but there might have been only one river there. If so, that must be the place.
You're too optimistic. There's no way the riddle could be solved that easily.
The master says his magical ceremony will gain more power if more people try to solve the riddle. You must try as well. Everyone has been given the same chance.
Yes.
As if we had a chance. This is pointless.
Cannon.
Genji spun around. Shannon and Cannon hurried to follow after him. When his
Thought he was going to spin around and slap Cannon across the face. Be like, how dare you? What is that attitude?
How dare you speak that way to me, boy? When his footsteps receded and silence returned, a gold butterfly flitted out from among the shadows.
Taiwan, is it? Oh, so he lived quite far away. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. In other words, a Sweetfish River running through Taiwan.
So I think the point of telling this person Taiwan,
Yep.
like, it's a hint in a sense, but at the same time, all of his children should have had the context that Taiwan would have been his hometown. So he was kind of giving them that so they could be on equal footing, I guess.
Yeah, I see.
Even if that particular child may not have come to the answer that it was Taiwan, they did have the pretext that it was the answer.
Yeah.
They should have. It should be somewhere in their mind palace, yeah.
Their mind palace.
It's been mentioned many times in this episode.
Okay. Cannon was right. How ridiculous. However, the word Taiwan interests me. That taciturn Genji muttered it without anyone asking it. So is it even possible that it means nothing? Clearly, Genji's saying it has something to do with the epitaph riddle. It's almost as though that was a hint for solving it. Though I do find it stupid. Very well, Genji. Why don't I play along with your farce for a while? Taiwan. I have traveled the world at times during these past 1,000 years, but I know nothing of the place. To counter my ignorance, I shall need a crystallization of knowledge. That which is smoothed out and pressed into many sheets, which is called a book. Where might I find a book about Taiwan? Kinzo's study is the first place that comes to mind if one is looking for books. But that won't work. The charm on that room prevents me from entering. So the library, is it? Kinzo's vast collection of books grows each year. The books don't fit in his study. The books that don't fit in his study are stored in a book storage room that we usually call the library. Book storage room! I would love a book storage room. That we usually call the library. Of course, there are countless books just in this place. The library has everything from valuable books to apparently worthless books. All packed together like an antique shop. There was a golden glint in the keyhole of the library's door, and a gold butterfly flitted out. Stinky as ever, I see. Dust, mold, I see, so this is the stench of knowledge. Well now, how can I find a book on Taiwan amongst all this? The prospect is almost dizzying. However, I realized right away. If I wanted to quickly find out about Taiwanese rivers, I didn't want a book on Taiwan. An atlas. There must be one of those or somewhere around here. Search my butterfly minions! Find the book I seek in this dusty noble graveyard of knowledge. A cloud of countless gold butterflies appeared at my feet. They swayed blue like the wind and coiled themselves around the library. Eventually, the cloud of butterflies selected a single book. It seems that this is the one. What is the butterflies a representation of? Could it be like that they have even more personalities? Just like unformed personalities?
No, it was literally just when Beatrice was being created.
Yeah.
They liked the idea of golden butterflies being their familiar.
Yeah.
They just.
But in real life, is it literally just Beatrice going through the library?
Going through the books, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well done. A World Atlas, Asia volume. Perfect. It was a grand, thick, illustrated encyclopedia of maps, several volumes long. There was even a third section on Taiwan.
Thick.
There was even a thick section on Taiwan. This should be plenty useful. Taiwan. 394 oh my gosh, kilometers. 394 kilometers north to south. 144 kilometers east to west. An area of roughly 36,000 square kilometers. Oh, that's pretty large. By area, that's about the same size as Kyushu in Japan. This led me to a very natural question. Just where on this massive island did Kinzo live? Genji mentioned Taiwan, but that's all. How careless I've been. Beata had vaguely assumed that the riddle would be solved in a flash if she could just look at a map of Taiwan. However, Taiwan is no small place. Just which part of this island did Kinzo call his beloved hometown? I kept looking through books in this dusty library, sometimes having to cough, and I was not happy with being stuck in a place like this. So, the largest city is Taipei. It says here that Japanese people used to live in a spot called Taisho. So, is that where Kinzo lived? No. It's too early to be sure of that without proof. I'll skip to the next part before I settle on anything more specific than just Taiwan itself. A Sweetfish River running through the hometown. What's this? There are 129 rivers in Taiwan. Gah! 129 rivers, and how many of those have sweet fish swimming in them? Just thinking about it is dizzying. This was quickly becoming ridiculous. Genji must have been muttering nonsense to himself after all. I only thought he was giving out a hint about the epitaph. So, the reward for the fool blinded by gold is dust. Nice one, Genji. I tossed the book aside, used magic to turn a bookshelf into a sofa, and plopped down on top of it. For a while, I grumbled about getting tricked and looked up at the ceiling. I was annoyed, so I felt like gathering all of this room's dust, packing it into a bowl, and tossing it into Genji's teacup. So I glanced down at the floor. The book I had thrown away lay open on the ground.
I'm just trying to remember if... Just in the scene before where it was Genji, Shannon, and Kanon. Trying to remember if Genji ever talked directly to Kanon there.
They did say that she wasn't certain if he was talking directly to Shannon or not.
No, just like... Because back when Yasu... We first learned about Yasu.
Yeah.
And they were like all the other servants. And they never like talked to Shannon initially.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started to. like years later with the newer ones.
Mm.
So I'm thinking it might be the similar thing. Like they don't know of Kanon's existence yet.
Ah, yeah.
Yasu hasn't made it known to anyone.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah. A gold butterfly was resting on that open page. Tossing a book at random and reading an oracle from the page it happens to open is a kind of ritual. I see, so that page might have some sort of hint. Not entirely convinced. I picked up the book. The open page was probably near the very near the one I had been reading. Apparently it was a page explaining Taiwan's geography. Oddly enough, it was a page about rivers and lakes. I already know that there are 129 rivers. Is there something else you're trying to tell me? There were 6 major rivers listed. Zhuoshui River, Kaoping River, Danshui River, Dajia River, Zhengwen River, Dadu River. Oh. Now then, which of these rivers might have sweet fish in them? An idea came to me then. Sweet fish are freshwater fish, and you don't find ocean water in rivers. Unless it's extremely dirty or blocked by a dam, any river might have sweet fish in it. How foolish! All rivers have fresh water in them. What's stopping sweet fish from living in any river? Come to think of it, what a foolish name this Danshui River has. Freshwater river? What sort of river isn't a freshwater river? It would only make sense to name a river after what's in it if it were literally anything else. Danshui River flows from Taipei to the harbor town of Danshui. I see, it isn't called that because of the water in it, but because of the town at its mouth. As you travel down the river, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. I realize that this is stupid. And yet, there's something about this town. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. That line should be talking about one of the 129 rivers. Sweet fish are freshwater fish. And here's this freshwater river flowing down to a town called Freshwater. It's like a strange trivial word game. Or could it be some kind of code? I have been looking for books here so long that the dust is piling up on me. If I give up now, it will all have been a waste of time. Very well. Why don't I test my luck and see if the random page the book opened to contains an oracle? I turn to the next page, trying to see in even greater detail. To me, solving this riddle was like a game, one that all of the servants were engrossed in. I was just trying to be one of that group. For quite some time I had suffered from a lack of books I could find particularly absorbing, and I was very bored, so I took that book back with me to my own room and looked through it every night. There's a hint for the epitaph riddle in an atlas?
In the third game, Ava solved the riddle after reading a book in the book archive. Then in the fifth game, Frudo Erica looked for an atlas in the room before solving it herself.
Then there really is some secret in the map of Taiwan. I believe that the Sweetfish River part was a code for Danshui River. Every day I researched the surrounding geography in detail. Of course, I also looked up several small streams that might have sweetfish in them. However, that didn't get me anywhere.
According to some information from a previous game, we aren't looking for an actual river. But it is something that flows. That's how Ava interpreted it.
So it isn't a river?
What is it?
Correct. In the end, Danshui River had nothing to do with it. However, now that I think about it, it must have been an oracle after all.
You remember what it is?
Is it something to do with the kanji of the name?
I'm pretty sure I said it. One of the relatives said it.
It was like, well, they compared it to a family tree, right?
That was not the correct one.
No?
I think it was Rosa who said it and gave the hint to Ava, and then Ava used that.
Oh, I remember they had the conversation, but I can't remember the content of the conversation.
Actually, was it? It was Rosa or Kirie, actually.
No, I think it was definitely Rosa and Ava.
They definitely had like a thing.
Yeah, they definitely had a conversation.
But I know Rosa would have brought up the family tree thing because it used the kanji, one of the kanji that was in Maria's name.
Maria, yeah. Because that's right, because Kinzo, he chose the name for all the children, didn't he? All the grandkids.
Yeah. Not grandkids, but kids. Grandkids were named by the parents, and they all picked weird names to try and please their father.
Okay.
And be like, yes, pick this as the successor. That's why, Jessica, George, Battler, Maria, none of them are like traditional Japanese names at all.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Correct. In the end, Danshui River had nothing to do with it. However, now that I think about it, it must have been an oracle after all. The river itself was unrelated, but it was still a great hint. The river was unrelated, but it was still a hint?
Calm down and think.
Why does he look so angry? It's like, he's like, just calm down and think. It's like, how you get it.
Think of something that flows but isn't a river.
It's like the author is yelling at me, the reader. Why don't you get it already? It's been 7 volumes of me writing this. I'm tired. I want to retire.
Well, it's... Leon is meant to be the Watson.
Yeah. So something other than water that flows.
What can you think of? Try and think outside the box.
I need water. My throat is gone. Hang on.
Well, I'm tired of all this puzzle solving. Stop being annoying and give us the answer. You solved the epitaph, right?
Probably.
Something other than water that flows.
Diarrhea.
It definitely does flow. Does it flow or does it explode?
It depends.
I'll have to find a meme and show it to you. Anyway, something. Methods of transportation? Like a road or a highway. Wait, someone did say that! They did say that in one of the other ones. Was it when Erica and Battler were doing something?
It could have been.
When they were outside?
Someone has mentioned it. Like, this straight up mentioned what it is.
Mm-mm.
And they're like...
No, yeah, someone's definitely mentioned that.
They're like, I think it's this. And then Ava used that. I think it was Kirie, to be honest.
Correct. It took me so long to realize that the Sweetfish River did not refer to water itself.
That's right. There's something other than a river with the name Danshui. Something that both people and things flow up and down.
Up and down? You mean...
That's it. Railroads.
The Danshui Line. It's a railroad that goes from Taipei to Danshui Harbor. It was constructed in 1901, while Taiwan was under Japanese rule. Afterwards, the number of stations continued to grow, and it became a major artery in Taipei. I wonder if that's why Taiwan uses traditional characters. Do you reckon?
I know nothing
They don't
about
use,
that.
so they don't use simplified characters. So there's your traditional characters, and then there's your simplified characters, which is a watered down version of the traditional one, so it's easier to read and write. But Japan tends to use the characters that are more traditional that they use for kanji. I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
When I see, like, Chinese kanji, I'm like, that does not look simplified at all.
No, but compared to what it is, what the traditional version is, it would be simplified. So they may take just like, there might be a kanji that's got like a bunch of different components to it, and they may just take the top half of that kanji, and that's the simplified version.
Well, you want to go back to uni and study this?
I'm just hypothesizing. I'm curious.
By all
okay?
means, do your research. Do a presentation on it.
I can't help
Make it your
it.
thesis.
Shush. I probably wouldn't need a thesis on it. I'm sure someone's already covered it. Look, the little linguist in me just can't help but be curious about language, okay? This railroad was used after the war as well, and is still in common use as the Danshui line of the Taipei Rapid Transit System. Its route begins at Taipei Station and continues on until the town of Danshui.
Come on. Come on, this is you.
No!
You studied this?
No! I failed Chinese, okay? I failed. I know there's... What would that be? Something mountain? Can't remember what mountain
I'm sure one
is.
of them would be Danshui. I'm gonna guess.
One of them definitely Danshui.
Top one.
There's Da something. Oh my goodness. What is... I know the top one, but I know I've seen it. Then there's like something Ja.
No, that's
Would it be
Danshui.
Ja or like...
I think they're all Danshui.
They're not all Danshui. The second one, because it's got the word for woman, but it's got the house underneath, so it's... I don't know. Okay. Kanji, 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 kanji. Next.
What did the epitaph say you'd see if you went down the river?
A village.
I think it's the last one that cut out.
There's only one station on the Danshui line with the...
Isn't that like... Michi? Kuro?
the character from
Village. Machi.
in
Machi,
its
yeah.
name. And it's the that station.
Danmachi?
Danmachi.
Oh, thank you, Leon. How do you read this?
The Japanese pronounce it Kirigan. Its name was changed to Sekihaya Station after the war, but when Kinzo lived there, it was Kirigan Station.
As you travel down the river, you will see a village, Machi. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of.
Machi isn't the only one. You can also see a strange symbol, the character for sure.
In the end, it took me quite a long time to work out that this station was the one referred to. It has the character for village and the character for shore. It felt like a kid's riddle playing with letters.
So Rosa actually had the advantage. Maria was...
It's just that Maria didn't have the focus. She didn't care. She was like, yes, let's kill people.
If it didn't have the witch aspect to the epitaph, she actually might have been good to solve it.
It's a good point, yeah.
Because of the witch thing, she was just like, oh no, it's just a witch revival ceremony.
But look, if Rosa had actually been a good parent and didn't seem to scare Maria into thinking that there was a witch that possessed her mum, then maybe she could have had the puzzle solved earlier as well.
If only she hadn't been born.
Oh my goodness. Ah! The first character in Kirigan has a kuchi, the character for mouth. And that one, the other half of that first character, means the word that, right? That village is sure, and the mouth is telling of it. But I don't get what the two means.
The three characters of Kirigan can be split into a mouth, a that, a village, and a shore. Those are all words that appear in the epitaph. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. You can read it as a code for the name of the station. However, I don't understand the part about the two.
Just kidding, I'm Will, I understand everything.
I was also stuck on that part. However, by then I was very confident that this station was what the epitaph referred to. If the station was once known by a different name, then could some local spot have also had its name changed?
That's right. Kirigan Station was named after a nearby location after all. And though the name of that area was also Kirigan, it's written differently.
Oh my gosh. Mind blown.
I know, it's like...
I don't know what it says. Oh, but you can see it.
There are two mouths. It didn't take much investigation before it was clear. The epitaph must have been referring to this place called Kirigan. Then is this where the key to the Golden Land rests? That would be the obvious answer. However, I couldn't make the long trip to Taiwan to check. And of course, this place known as Kirigan is quite large itself. If a tiny key was hidden somewhere there, I'd never find it. I was at a loss.
But you didn't give up.
I was certain that I had found the answer, at least to the first 5 lines of the epitaph. In my eyes, it truly was an entertaining game. No, a mystery. I almost gave up then. However, there was no doubt that I had the key in my hand. So I decided to travel to the Golden Land in accordance with the epitaph. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices.
We can tell by this line that the key refers to 6 things. Reasoning makes it possible. to see that this couldn't refer to a physical key.
6 things? Yes. 6 things. I was merely a thick-headed human. I decided to look through books for anything related to the number 6. 6. 666. The location of the key called Kirigan was hidden by a word game. That meant the 6 things were surely connected to some sort of word game too. 6. 666.
You trying to
I
curse
kept
me?
searching for 6. Is there some way to split up the characters in Kirigan to get 6?
A good idea. Still, no matter how much you stare at those 3 characters, you won't get an answer. The problem here is that Kirigan is just a Japanese reading of the name.
Then how did they pronounce it there?
Chilean. Or is it
Chilean.
Kilian? Is it
It's Chi. It's Chi.
Yeah.
It's pronounced Chilean. When written in Roman characters, that's 6 letters long. 6 letters? Then it is a word game after all.
This is what it means by the 6 chosen by the key.
I get it. Talking about it like this, it sounds like a line of reasoning that can be reached in a second. However, it took a long I don't know who's speaking right now. However, it took a long time before I reached this spot on my own. A dizzying number of nights passed from the time Genji uttered that single word to the time I got this far. So, what does it mean to offer these 6 letters as sacrifices?
On the second twilight, we start hearing about those who remain. Reasoning opens up the possibility that the 6 letters of the key are being removed from an even larger set of letters.
However, what could the 6 letters be removed from? That puzzle worried me for a long time. It's like the start of an entirely new riddle. This time, I would have to solve it all by myself, without any assistance.
What could it be removed from?
In a previous game, I'm pretty sure Aunt Rosa formed some sort of theory about the first twilight.
Right, that theory about a 10-day journey ending at the 10th twilight. On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, he shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. She took that section to be a literal trip that ends when you attain to, or reach the treasures of the Golden Land.
What meaning was there in those words? Realizing that there was something to be found, and then realizing what that something actually was, took another long stretch of time.
By Rosa's reasoning, attain to meant reaching some physical location represented by the 4 treasures. It was a good try, but not quite right. It's not the treasures we're supposed to reach, but their power.
What does it even mean to reach the power of something like that?
Don't overthink it. What else can the word power mean?
You reach, or rather, raise yourself to the power of the 4 treasures, starting at twilight number 10. And this is done once and for the last time. Oh, so it's an exponent like a math problem, my worst nightmare. Here, I had a home field advantage since I lived in Rukenjima. There was a hint there that made it easier to think of a certain large number.
Where?
In fact, you might say that I actually found the answer before I knew what the question was.
What is it? Tell me.
Is it the epitaph?
No, they're using the epitaph to find this out.
If you keep making it so complicated, Leon's gonna get a headache. Let's get back to the point. 10 to the 4th power is 10,000. If you reach 10,000 on the 10th twilight, how far have you gotten by the 1st twilight?
Well, that's just 1/10 of 10,000. No, this is too many numbers. 1,000, right?
Right. But while that gives us a single word, it has nowhere near enough letters, and it doesn't match the key at all.
However, the end of the line says, "You will attain to the power once and for the last time." If we interpret this as raising 10 to the 4th power once, and then doing the same thing one final time, we end with 10 quadrillion.
Where have you seen that word?
That's 10 quadrillion at the 10th twilight, or quadrillion at the 1st twilight. As Battler guessed in the 5th game, it has 11 letters. Or should I say, as you guessed.
Strangely enough, both words begin with Q. I felt that this just had to be right.
Leon took a notepad from a pocket and spelt out quadrillion and Chilean. The two words even looked similar at a glance.
That's true.
Quadrillion.
That's right. It's true that the 6
is
letters
Leon.
chosen by the key... Oh, that's right. It's true that the 6 letters chosen by the key are right there, inside quadrillion. So what happens if we take them out? Wait, what?
Chilean.
Chilean.
It's
Chilean.
A-N, not O-N.
Ah! Okay. We're left with 5 meaningless letters. However, the important thing is the number 5. After all, in the next part of the epitaph, the word kill appears 5 times. And then, on the 9th twilight, none shall be left alive. In other words, there should be 5 letters left. On top of that, just as Battler-san guessed in the 5th game, 2 of those letters are close to each other. The D and the R. Those must be the 2 who are close. Once you reach this spot, the riddle has practically solved itself.
Or, put another way, this is as far as you can go with the epitaph alone. You might be able to figure out the answer with a little more wordplay, but you won't be able to activate the device.
That's right. Once you know this much, all that remains is to gouge and kill.
You had a good idea of where the place was, even before you got this far, right?
Yes. Some people suspected that the gold was hidden there even before the epitaph appeared. And because of this mysterious phrase that appeared there, it's only natural that I thought the place concealed some secret.
Where is it?
What do you mean by the place?
The place with the device that opens the door to the Golden Land. A quick-witted person should be able to figure it out, where the 1st twilight is by now.
Oh, Will's just hitting me with daggers to my
Tell me,
heart
where
and my
do you think it
brain.
is?
I don't
Watson?
know.
Where any place on the island that is suspicious enough for something like this, and to have a weird phrase like quadrillion.
They the shrine on the beach
It's closer than you think.
in the mansion itself.
Like, closer to you than you think.
I don't know.
You're literally looking at it.
The church. I was gonna say the chapel, but I thought they wouldn't put it in the chapel and then like have us discussing this in the chapel. But apparently they did.
Go on.
Okay. I thought the first Twilight was quadrillion, not a place.
It's the place where quadrillion is written. You should know it. Or did you blindly follow Kinzo's orders and never go near it?
So, like, I think the phrase or the word quadrillion wasn't like explicitly mentioned until like the fourth game, maybe. But prior to that, I remember when like the murders were going on. They made their way to the chapel for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And they saw like the phrase that was written on top of the entrance to the chapel. And George said they were like trying to read it, and they're like, "Man, that's a really big word, isn't it?" And then George is like, he said MBTQ. Or he was like MBT, and then was it Q or something?
Yeah.
So that was him
like the Roman numerals?
No. Like million, billion, trillion, quadrillion. So he was going through and seeing like how big that was.
Yeah.
Quadrillion. So that was like, I think, the first hint towards the word of quadrillion being important, I guess.
Oh. Weird numbers. They hurt my brain. Please don't make me do math. Umineko, why are you making me do math?
You don't need to do the math. They did the math for you.
No! Just don't make me do math.
So what do you think happens with that? Now that you know quadrillion at the chapel is important.
Well, obviously it seems like the Beatrice has been given the tools to find out. What I'm more curious with is, do they find it before Kinzo dies? And then does them finding it and potentially having a confrontation with Kinzo result in Kinzo's death? That's what I'm quite curious of at this stage.
What, you think Beatrice kills Kinzo or something?
Well, if they find out, maybe, yeah. We know that they're capable of murder. Maybe Kinzo was the first one.
Kinzo was always the first one. KFC.
Exactly.
KFK.
Oh my goodness.
Kentucky Fried Kinzo.
Oh my goodness, don't talk about chicken right now. I'm hungry.
Or Kinzo Fried Corpse.
Ew! Okay, that's too much. That's a bit too far. No.
We'll find out what happens to Mr. Kinzo in the next one.
I'm ready to... No, I'm done. Papa, I am Kinzo. I'm stopping now.